Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Fellowship of Brewser. Fellowship of Brewser?
That's a good thing.
We've combined already. Welcome to the very first Fellowship of Beer and Brewser live beer box tasting extravaganza.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful. My name's Ash. I am the Chief of Beer Relations here at the Fellowship of Beer, and my lovely co-host is Nick, who is our Chief Beer Educator, co-founder and executive brewer at Steam Machine Brewing Company.
Woo!
So very quickly, I've got some technological firefighting to do. So I'm going to fastball Nick and ask him to give you a bit of a talk about the running order for this evening and a little introduction to the Fellowship of Beer.
It's quite ambitious because we're being joined by 3 different breweries as well as the Brewser team. So we're going to bring them on in turn to talk about the stuff that they do, which is quite exciting. And at the moment, we've lost Jordan from UnBarred. Jordan, where are you? We need you, Jordan. We can't do this without you. So the running order is we are going to have a quick introduction to who the Fellowship of Beer is. We're going to hand it over to the guys from Brewser. They're going to tell you a bit more about what they do. And then we are going to kick off with duration, and we're going to be talking about West Coast IPAs. We're going to bring in Neptune Brewing, and we're going to be talking about dark and beautiful. And we're going to then move on to UnBarred, where we're going to be talking about unusual ingredients. The theme of this evening is choices. So different styles of beer are all completely different. They all have a rich history, and people sometimes try to create rules for this, and they try to say a beer tastes this way because of this. A beer should have this in if it's going to be that. But the thing is, craft brewers, we're always innovating. We're always trying to find a new flavor, a new taste. We're always experimenting.
You're always rebelling.
We're always rebelling. We don't like rules, and so we're all about breaking them. And we're going to hear about the choices that brewers and the teams behind the beers make this evening to have created these wonderful concoctions that we're going to be discussing.
We are indeed. So just a quick one. If it looks like I'm ignoring you and I'm looking at various things over here, I'm trying to make sound work and answer questions and comments and get them up on the screen and make sure that our lovely guests are in at the right time. So I'm not ignoring you. I might have been distracted by a pigeon over there or something. That's entirely possible.
Classic ADHD.
So first of all, we're going to get Ollie from Brewser, or maybe Ollie and Lewis, and they can fight over who wants to talk. And they're going to tell you a little bit about Brewser and what they're all about.
Excellent.
Hey guys, how are we doing?
Hello. Very well indeed, thanks.
So
how are you guys doing tonight?
I'm going to remove us from the screen and let you two tell everyone a little bit about Brewser, the concept behind it, and something about your exciting beer boxes. So go.
Absolutely. Lewis, I'd just like to start off by, first of all, massive, huge thank you to Nick and Ash from the Fellowship of Beer for planning this and sorting it out with us. What they're doing is awesome, and there's a lot of synergy between what we're doing and the Fellowship of Beer as well. Thanks everyone for joining and watching, and also, of course, a huge thank you to our 3 breweries that are joining us tonight on the first live session.
Yeah, thanks everyone. Yeah, huge thank you to Nick and Ash and the 3 breweries that are joining us tonight as well. We've been so excited to get this going, so it's awesome to see it actually happening. And welcome to everyone who's online watching. It's great to have you. Just to build on what Ollie was saying, like one of the reasons why we wanted to set Brewser up and the way the model is what it is that we want people to really experience what breweries have to offer, which is why Brewser boxes give you a full showcase of what your chosen brewery is producing at that time. And so we wanted to take it one step further with these events to allow you to interact with the people actually brewing those beers and learn more about their choices behind it and the processes behind it as well. So yeah, really excited. I think that's probably enough from us. You hear enough from us on a day-to-day basis. So hand it back over to you, Nick and Ash, and the guys from the breweries.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
So I'm going to hand
guys.
over to Nick. And Nick's going to just tell us a little bit about the Fellowship of Beer, which is us, by the way, in case you've never met us before. And then he's going to get straight into a little overarching educational piece on the...
I've done that. I was quick.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the Fellowship of Beer then.
So we have a tagline, and that's we're on a quest to quench your thirst for beer knowledge. And our overarching belief is that beer is the drink of the people. It always has been, and no one should be the gatekeeper of that. It's a very inclusive drink. It's the most popular alcoholic beverage in the world, but sometimes they can feel like, especially people entering the craft beer scene, as it were, they can feel like there is a huge gap between beginner and expert.
It can be quite intimidating when you first get in.
It can be intimidating, you know, and we're there to hold your hand and facilitate your fair journey through this wonderful world of beer. And it's not just about us two, even though at the moment you're probably going to see most of us two. We are combining efforts with a lot of wonderful creators. It's called the Fellowship of Beer for a reason, because it's a fellowship, it's a group of people, and you will see more and more faces over the coming months. So, without further ado, I'm just going to give you a little bit of a tease, actually, that there are going to be some prizes tonight. Did you know that?
I did. Did you know that?
I did know that.
It's exciting, isn't it?
There's going to be some beer prizes.
Some
more on that.
Giveaways.
More on that very shortly. What I'd like to do is I would like to bring on Miranda from Duration, and I would like us to have a little chat.
I'm sure we can facilitate that. Miranda, how are you doing?
Hiya, how's everyone doing?
Good, it's nice to see you.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I'm doing that thing where I'm like juggling my phone on a book, on a box, on a something else. So I hope everyone can see me all right.
It's the best way. It's the best way. We've like, despite the fact of our setup, there are still like, you know, that's the way of running a brewery, isn't it? You know, if I could write a book, I think it would be brewery workaround. Miranda, so Duration Brewing is well known for its mixed fermentation, its farmhouse-inspired beers, which is why we thought we would kick off with a West Coast IPA from you, if that's okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we do make a wide range of styles. So as well as our mixed fermentation and slow beers, which we love kind of reflecting the landscape and working with other producers on, we really enjoy making fresh beers. So, you know, we do a lot of Pilsner, a lot of lagers, a lot of lovely, soft, fluffy, sort of juicy IPAs. But yeah, our brewer is from the Deep South in America.
Oh, really? That's such a
Yeah.
Interesting.
And at the time he got into brewing, West Coast were pretty much the only IPAs that they were drinking in the States. So yeah, we do a lot of those. It's probably Bates is our brewer's name, and it's probably his favourite beer style to drink. So, yeah, we...
My chair's sinking as I'm talking to you. I think I picked the wrong one. It just went clunk. Maybe I need to cut out the beer. Sorry, carry on.
So we actually have like a core West Coast called Dripping Pitch, but the one that I'd love to talk to everyone about tonight is called Remember When the Pub. And we kind of... oh, look, you've got it too.
We do.
Yeah, so, I mean, in the middle there, you're showing Catching the Big Fish, which is a West Coast that we did with Left-Handed Giant in Bristol. But Remember When the Pub is, it started off as a seasonal beer that our brewer, Dan, wanted to make. It was in the depth of lockdown. That's why it's got that name, because we couldn't get to the pubs.
Yeah.
And Dan was remembering his first craft beer experience when he went to a pub and they had Thornbridge Jaipur pouring, and it just blew his mind. And he thought, what is this flavour and this taste? So we wanted to create a beer that's a bit of a homage to that, really balanced and should have all the qualities that a West Coast has. So very hop forward, a little citrus note, very fruity, and, you know, a burst of hops up front, but then coming together with a balance on, I keep putting my camera the wrong way, a balance on some really lovely malt bills. So we layered up the malt in this one to really give a nice backbone behind the hops. And then, yeah, like a West Coast should, because you're drinking it normally in, you know, beautiful Californian sunshine. It should end really dry and crisp and like with a bit of assertive bitterness to kind of help cut that heat from where it originates.
It's lovely. And Miranda, you're right. Like so many of us who got into craft beer, that was the kind of first thing that we kind of tried was a West Coast IPA. Something, you know, bitter, resinous, dry, refreshing. Something that smacked us in the teeth with a lot of hops, and we went, "Wow, what is that?" Like you described, you know, Dan's Jaipur experience, and that I think a lot of us who've, you know, been in the beer industry now for a bit, those of us who've started breweries, those of us who've come from homebrewing, that is exactly what we experienced, and that's why we really wanted to start with you, because you had 3 of them teasing at us from this delightful box.
Mm-hmm. We've actually done one recently with a beer shop called Vessel, and it was entirely Vienna malts, and Bates says that's his best West Coast to date. So yeah, there's still a bit of time to go seek that one out because we've got a bit of that one left. But this one, we put it up for like the SEBA regionals, and it won best double IPA gold for our region, which is East Anglia. So we're really excited to see where it goes in the nationals. And this is the second time ever that we brewed it. So we brewed it this time last year, and then we brewed it again now.
Beautiful. And I see it says that it's made with Citra Cryo and Simcoe as well. I love Simcoe, and I love it in my West Coast. I think it would be my desert island hop. It's not one of the cool kids anymore, Simcoe, but I think it's a beautiful hop.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty cool. While you're on, Amanda, Tons of Beer is saying hello.
Oh, hiya. Nice to see you on here. You been all right? Yeah, and for those of you like watching in that don't really know duration, we're based in West Norfolk, so very close to the Wash, Kings Lynn, on the Cambridge side of Norfolk. I'm actually, you might be able to tell from my accent, from London, and Bates and myself are the founders. But yeah, because we wanted to do some beautiful mixed fermentation beers and work with, you know, Chris Maltings, who grow a lot of the barley around here, and other local producers, we wanted to be in a farm context so that there's lovely strong yeast sort of present in the air for us to do our spontaneous coolship brews, and you know there's lots of other farmers and producers around for us to partner up with.
We've got one of your mixed fermentation farmhouse pale beers in the box as well, so we're gonna do a video about that, aren't we? We're gonna do a feature video in the near future, within the next couple of weeks. One last thing, Miranda, we would love to come see you in person. My little brother, your little cousin, your little actually lives in Cambridge, and we went to visit last summer, but we didn't. It was just a bit too busy. So when we do visit him, we're gonna spring a surprise visit and come and say hello.
Everyone's always welcome. We make it very inclusive, and you know you can bring your dogs, bring your kids, bring your friends, and we have a Friday and Saturday tap room and street food.
How it should be. That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Perfect. Miranda, are you hanging around to the end to interact with any questions that people may have at the Q&A at the finish?
Nice one.
Perfect. Thank you, Miranda.
Fantastic. So if you've got any specific questions for Miranda, if you drop those into the comments, we'll get to them in the Q&A.
Perfect.
Okie dokie.
So more about this giveaway. Prizes to be won.
So if I was going to give something away,
yeah,
or even better, if Brewser was going to give something away,
yeah,
I think the criteria to enter would be to drop a comment about the most memorable beer that you can remember.
Yes.
And tell us what beer it was, why it was memorable, and any funny anecdotes. And then later on, the Brewser team are going to pick a random comment, and they're going to win something.
So you've got to drop a comment on there, and the guys from Brewser are going to pick it. That's nice and easy. So one of the things we're always trying to get across to people is like the beer experiences, the love of the beer experience. You know, why was that moment special? And you know, as people who own breweries and people who own tap rooms, they're only in control of so much. They're in control of the great beer. They're in control of the atmosphere that they create. But that's not all it's about. It's about, you know, where you were, who you were with, what happened. So let us know. I'm really interested to read through these later. Well,
I guess we better try another beer.
Yeah, that was delicious, by the way.
I mean, it still is. I'm going to have to come back to it.
Yeah. Have it for dessert.
Yep.
So
I'm going to have a little line of them behind the camera.
Gonna go across to the dark side now.
You mean Liverpool?
The dark side of the Pennines. That's a bit rude, actually, isn't it? You're from that side of the Pennines.
I am from that side of the Pennines. It's the best side of the Pennines.
I'm from the northeast. We just have lots of wind, not passing wind, you know, just lots of wind.
Okay, I'm going to bring Chess on while you open
Excellent.
that up. Okay. Hi, Chess. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you guys?
Excellent.
Brilliant.
Excellent.
Chess, would you start by just giving everyone who perhaps hasn't heard of you, can you give us the lowdown on Neptune Brewing and what on earth it has to do with the aquatic industry?
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Well, you're listening to a true Norfolk gal from the east of East Anglia, actually zooming into you from Salford. So, you know, the Manchester-Liverpool rivalry, for anyone who doesn't know, is really, really healthy one. And we are, yes, a North Liverpool brewery. So, yeah, why Neptune? So basically, I've known Neptune for years. I've worked in the beer industry for years, and I've been good pals with Julie and Les, who a lot of people will know by good reputation, who are the co-founders of the brewery. And why Neptune? Well, basically because Les owned a successful aquatics business for 25 years. And to quote him, had a midlife crisis and decided to open his own brewery. So he hung up his fish nets or fishing nets, very important distinction, yeah, and picked up his mash paddle and basically, yeah, 7 years ago now, we're celebrating our 7th birthday in a couple of months' time. He decided to start brewing some beer, all just inspired by the fact that he felt like there was some good beer out there, but he felt like he could make some great beer. And then it just kind of made sense that the Neptune name came with us. I mean, it just has a whole, as it were, ocean's worth of material for names that we can have after mythology and geography and inspiration from all that kind of amazing sea life and creatures and everything. So you'll notice a bit of a theme with most of our beers being named in that. But there's a big link with music as well, because we're a big fan of music in the brewery. And yeah, so it's you talked about coming to the dark side. And I found it very interesting that you just picked this beer to be the one to feature as part of this month's Brewser box. So it's called, I mean, obviously, if you didn't have to guess the nautical connection, it's Holy Diver. There we go. Yeah, it is weird with the camera. Miranda's right. Here we go. Working backwards. Basically, it's, as usual for us, twofold. Of course, I think we can probably guess Diver, Holy Diver, but it is also a song by an artist called Dio, and some people may be aware of it. It's very much more in Les's wheelhouse of tunes that he's into. I'm more of a kind of David Bowie Beatles fan. He's a bit more hardcore rock. He put this song on once he told me that we were making Holy Diver, and I was like, yeah, not for me, that one, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. And yeah, so it is special. It is special because it's for our 666th brew. So again, you get the little nod to the name there. So yeah, I think you were going to say something about it there.
It's beautiful. It's really well balanced. It's you know, Chile can go is stouts is one of the few beers that Chile's really works well with. You know, having that heat, and it's chipotle chilies, isn't it? It says on the label, so you get some of that kind of smoky, some of that kind of fruity tones as well coming through. I wonder if you could tell us a bit about the kind of choices on that, or if there was much, you know, research and development with different varietals and things. That were quite interesting to hear.
Yeah, well, I know that a lot of what Les does and his approach, because, you know, like most brewers, it's a bit of magic and inspiration and a lot of methodical thought and all that kind of stuff. And you're right, there's chipotle and just general red chilies in there. We've used them at different points throughout the brew, and I'm really pleased what you said about the fruits and everything on it, because basically when I opened mine, I luckily remembered to take it out of the fridge at the right time. I actually almost got some red wine characteristics from it. Almost sherry-like, not quite as tart as sherry, but like that barrel kind of young sherry sort of thing going on. which comes through
4.8%, and it packs a load of flavours. That's quite reasonably sessionable as well. It's
well, that was a really purposeful aim from us. It was Julie's idea. She wanted to do the chili stout. I mean, we love all beers at the brewery, but dark beers are a favourite of ours. And so Julie said, we really want to do that. I think that would be obviously appropriate. And then there's Moana, another one in this month's box. So basically, I was asking Les about how he went about it, and it sounds a bit like the time he told me one of the inspirations for the beer that we did was that he looked at a Jamie Oliver recipe online and just scaled it up to a beer. Like that was really easy and normal. But with this one, he was telling me about how he used a combination of chilies at the very end of the boil, just as it was starting to sort of do the rolling and finish its boil so that it would dissipate throughout. But then he actually did some dry spicing as well. So adding, in fact, the way he described it was taking out some of the beer and taking some more of the chipotle chilies and making like a paste, a bit like you would when you make corn flour, trying to thicken up a stew or something. So he did that. And then added it back, and that added this dry dry chili element rather than just dry hopping. So I was fascinated by that. And you're right. I think the idea to make it accessible at 4.8% and not too spicy. We didn't want this to be a mad, knock your sort of socks off. Everything we brew, we ideally always want to think that people always want to get to the bottom of the glass and hopefully want to ask for another one. And I think that with that lovely sort of complex blend of malts, and we've got Chinook and Fuggle in here actually. So we've got, not necessarily the sexiest hops, but I don't know. I think Fuggle's pretty sexy, and I think it just all balances well and means the fruitiness in the chilies, as you say, and that lovely malt sort of backbone all comes together. And as we say, to a gentle crescendo.
Yes. Yeah, really moreish. It is
really well balanced, isn't it?
It's got a beautiful texture as well. It's carbonation's spot on, and it's an absolute delight.
Thank you. Well, everything we do is naturally carbonated, and that includes keg and can. So it's really lovely to hear that you love the carbonation, and we have oats in there as well, which I hope also is contributing to that lovely mouthfeel as well.
I've actually had quite a reasonable amount of Neptune beers. I don't know if you know the illegal off the back of the wagon trade between contract canners or not.
Oh, I've heard rumours.
When we used to have them that can contract canning beers at Steam Machine, Andy would always come in and go, I've just been to so-and-so, I've just been, here's some Neptune beers, they're lovely. And then, some of ours will go back into the mix. And
definitely.
And then we used to come across quite a lot of Neptune IPAs at the time. They were always delicious, always delightful, because it's not something that we really see that much of in the Northeast, to be honest.
Yeah, well, we've had long-standing distribution in the Northeast, and it is as with everything for us right now, which is wonderful. It is really elevating and going off the charts. So I know we did a tap takeover recently at Central Bar via our distributor. Julie and Les love the Northeast. It's not that I don't, but they are way more familiar with it. I was actually living out of the country for the last 4 years in Dublin, so and I'm from Norfolk. It's a schlep, but they love the Northeast. It's one of their favourite places to go. They love going to Newcastle. There's been events that they've done in the past and things that got put on hold because of the obvious reasons. I'm not even going to mention the word. We know what happened. So it's on our radar to be able to come back and enjoy. We're hoping we'll have the time to do it this year because it's already looking a bit crazy this year, which is just wonderful to be able to say we're doing events again and travelling. So it's got a soft spot in the heart of our brewery for sure, the Northeast.
Oh, that's good to hear. That's nice to hear. Are you hanging around to the end to answer any questions that may crop up from the
That's fantastic.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that. That's really wonderful to hear.
Cheers, Jess. See you shortly.
Now, I don't know if I mentioned before that my chair broke in the middle of that.
I did wonder why you were standing up. I keep trying to make myself look taller like this.
I'm just swapping a chair quickly.
Okay. While Nick swaps a chair quickly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we are giving away. So,
what are we giving away? Oh, it's better.
Are you happy now?
Yeah, I'm happy now.
That's better. You look less uncomfortable. I did wonder why he was standing up. I thought something's happened.
I haven't done karate since I was a teenager, but there was some stance work going on.
So the Fellowship of Beer, we are here to educate people about beer. That's one of our missions. And as part of that, we do have some online courses.
Yeah.
One of which is the All About Beer course. What's that
Correct.
about?
It's all about beer. It's about the history, the development, brewing techniques, the understanding of 5 major grouping styles of beer that from around the world, the most popular styles of beer from the craft beer revolution and beyond, really.
Exactly.
And it's been completed by brewery owners, by professional brewers, but that's not who it was aimed at, to be honest with you. It was aimed at the general enthusiast. It was aimed at people who want to know more about the beer they're pouring. But, despite that, everyone who's done it has walked away feeling, wow, I've really got something worthwhile from this. Which has been quite humbling, really, because there was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of research went into the course and the delivery of it. And the feedback from it's been wonderful. And really, that is one of the strings of the Fellowship of Beer bow. So what's the giveaway?
The giveaway is, if you want to spend over 5 hours listening to me and him talk more
About beer.
And some rubbish banter.
And showing behind the scenes of the brewing process and really focusing in about, we've talked about the choices that brewers make. Talking about the choices that brewers make, but also talking about the limitations and restrictions historically that led to how these beers evolved as well.
So if you want to have a look at that, then we have a 50% off code, which should be above my head now. So if you go to the website, enter that in, you will get 50% off for being one of Brewser's lovely followers.
Brilliant. But, that's quite a commitment still to buy something. If only people could kind of try before they buy. If only people could kind of sample our fine work that we do and the research and the booklets that we've written and see the videos and the text.
We do a free course?
A free course would be brilliant. A mini free course just so they can have a taster of what we're about.
That's a great idea.
We should launch one of those.
What should we do it on?
We should do it on the ingredients that make up beer.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Let's launch it tomorrow.
Let's launch it tomorrow. That's crazy talk.
Okay, so if you want a free course about what's in a beer, we're going to be launching one tomorrow evening.
You heard it here first.
So follow us on various social media accounts and you'll find a link to go and see what our training is
Literally
like.
heard it here first. We haven't announced it anywhere. You guys are the first to know.
Yeah, because we just decided then.
So, yeah.
So enough wittering from us. Let's get our third and final guest on this evening. We are joined.
That was delicious, and now I'm quite excited for some. I've had my main course. By my start, I've had my main course. I want something fruity for pudding.
What are you going for?
Tell we're from the north.
Pudding. Let's get pudding, lad.
You get a swish glass.
I do get a swish glass.
Swish UnBarred glass.
You can't really see it in the.
It says UnBarred in gold.
It does. It's real gold.
And hopefully, have we got Jordan here?
We do have Jordan here.
Brilliant.
I'm going to bring Jordan on right now.
Hello.
How are we doing, man?
Hi.
It worked.
We had some fun and games trying to get you in there, didn't we?
Yeah, I'm on my phone, so bear with me. I'm at a dodgy angle trying to make this work, but can you hear me?
Not dodgy angles.
We can, and dodgy angles are the best angles when you're on a live chat.
Thanks for having us on, guys. How's it going?
Brilliant.
Yeah, really good.
Jordan, first of all, this is a delightful looking beer. I have cleaned this glass. I'm sorry you can see the bubbles. That happened the other night, didn't it? We took a picture of an UnBarred beer.
We did.
I polished the glass for 5 minutes. I poured in. It was full of bubbles. I was laughed at.
We managed to fix it with one of the babies.
With a baby spoon.
Spoons.
There is nucleation points in the bottom of the glass as well, which is a lightning bolt.
It's
so
brilliant.
Maybe the bubbles
It's logo on, hasn't it? I spied that.
That's it.
Just on the nose, that is fantastic.
It smells great.
So, Jordan, while I am sniffing the beer and going off on a tangent, do you want to tell us a little bit about UnBarred and a sort of brief overview of the background of the brewery?
Brief overview. I'm a Brighton born and bred. resident, and I started brewing in my shed in Hove, which is part of Brighton and Hove. Left the well-paid job, went and worked at another brewery, worked my way up to head brewer, got qualified at the Institute of Brewing and Distilling, and then went to a contract brewery where I brewed I brewed over 300 different beers in a couple of years, and I was brewing for other people, including a lot of local breweries and some that are with you guys now, to help them get going, and delivering beer out the back of my car. And then 2.5 years ago, met my partners, and we got a brewery bang in the centre of Brighton, with a tap room, got 14 different beers. So it's always been a super passion project of creativity and pushing some boundaries, challenging what a beer is, and really reflecting the sort of diversity and creativity of Brighton. We've got some amazing universities here. So with some of the cans, I don't know, you haven't got any, but we've got some photographers that we've used, all local illustrators, designers. Everyone we work with is a local creative in that sense, and hopefully the beers show some of the things that we're challenging. And you've got a breakfast beer there.
So this is your granola. It is.
Yes.
Apricot, peach, and honey pale at 6%. So you were kind of like, I know this doesn't have lactose in it, but
no,
you were kind of one of the first. You were kind of a very early brewery on the British scene that was doing milkshake kind of IPAs, and so were we at Steam Machine Brewing Company up north. And like, I remember you had, when you released your honeycomb milkshake IPA.
Honeycomb milkshake. Yep.
And we'd done something reasonably similar at the same time. And I remember thinking, that's awesome. That, you know, we're connected. We don't know each other. We're on opposite sides of the country. And, you know, those ideas are floating around. And you know, these kind of beers get a bad rep amongst craft beer brewers and craft beer professionals. But what I love about them is they make beer really accessible. And anything that makes beer really accessible to the masses, I think, is a great thing. So you use fruits quite often for your beers. We've actually got 3 different fruited beers here, all completely different.
Yep.
We've got cherry and red grape farmhouse saison.
Yes.
And there's also a raspberry tea sour as well.
Yep.
But I wonder if you could tell us a bit about the choices that you make in terms of the fruit, or you know, perhaps where that's added, or just how about you go about just making those decisions to create these wonderfully diverse beers.
Thank you. And I think there's got to be a place for the beer, and for us it's very much about having a wide range of beers available. And at the beginning, definitely there was a bigger market, and everyone was pushing the boundary of what different beer we're going to brew next, and where we're going to push this. And that was the excitement for me for craft beer as well. And I think now we're going to keep doing some great head-turning beers, you know, more of the stump beers, and especially of our collabs. But we're also doing really high levels of quality control all the way through, and taking it very serious to get to that point of having a lot of fun. But granola was meant to be a one-off brew that the demand just went mad. As soon as we brewed it, everyone wanted it again. So we brought it back, and that was literally from looking at the side of a cereal packet. I am a huge foodie. Food was my first passion, and still is a mega passion of mine. So looking at other concepts, how can we make this a beer? And lactose free, because I felt we were doing quite a few beers with lactose at the time, and lots of people have intolerant. We find more people are intolerant to lactose than vegan, even down in Brighton. That seems to be more of a concern. So we went for let's create the body, and then using the peach and apricot, which I'll be open about, we use an extract of those because the extract actually works better in creating that yogurty character. So when you get like a supermarket bought yogurt, and you have peaches in there, you'll get next to no flavour from that peach. It's the extraction of the flavour that's then put back into that yogurt, and that aroma that you get from that is what we're doing. And if we had the equipment to do it, we would have done it ourselves.
That's really interesting. I know, like we've brewed with peaches and apricots a fair amount of times as well, and sometimes peaches, especially pures, like the enzymes and things can actually like drop out a lot of the protein on occasion. And
Spontaneous flocculation, yeah, we had a problem with that before. It seems to be the more fibrous, like peaches and apricots, the bigger problems you're going to have downstream. And yeah, we had the huge snow globe, and we did a peaches and cream beer. And then had to relabel them all and just explain there's a huge amount of fruit in this beer, don't pour all of it. And we had to recall it in the end. But yeah, lesson learned the hard way. Fortunately, a very small batch very early on in the career.
Well, I think that's the other wonderful thing about craft brews as well, is we're always reflecting, and we're always learning. And you know, you don't exist in an industry that is, you know, essentially like 90% R&D without making some mistakes. You know what I mean? It's just constantly pushing boundaries, and that's wonderful to hear.
Yeah, we live and we learn, and every beer we do, we should look back and say, how can we make that better? That's what keeps us going, right?
Yeah, definitely. Jordan, these are brilliant. Thank you so much for joining us. What time are we on? Are we okay?
We are just about running to time, which is very rare for us.
Well, that was brilliant. Jordan, thanks very much, Jordan. Are you hanging around to the end for the Q&A? It should
absolutely. Cheers, guys.
Awesome.
10 minutes time, I think.
Cheers, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan. So that's really just scratching the surface of the beers that were in these boxes. You know, we teased about a few. You know, there's Neptune have a collaboration here of an American red IPA. They have a session IPA here with Idaho 7 and Citra. You know, and of course, most of these boxes are going to be IPA heavy, because IPAs are the most popular style of craft beer in the world. The second most popular style of beer in the world after macro lager. Well, you know, there's across the...
That's what I think of macro lager.
There's also some really interesting things as well. Like UnBarred, you've got a limited edition here, a Bock, which is a German dark lager with cold steeped coffee at 7.2%. So there really is a whole array of things to choose from. And these three boxes have been brilliant at showcasing the diversity of beer, and, you know, linking back to the choices that these brew teams are making to essentially from the same base ingredients to create completely different beers. And, you know, it's wonderful to have them here to talk about that.
It is really diverse boxes, and that's why we chose some of these, because they were really like a great showcase of really different things.
Yes,
correct.
I should have said that.
Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking at a pigeon over there, and I completely didn't listen to it.
It's been like this our whole life, you know. It's like
he's used to me.
Yeah. This is my baby cousin, by the way.
Do you feel like you're babysitting?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's like being kids again. So before we announce the winner before we go back to Brewser to announce the winner of the giveaway. So I hope you've all been writing about your beer experiences.
There's been a lot.
Has there?
Yeah, really good.
Brilliant.
Really good.
That's why you've just been reading them, haven't you? You've just been reading everyone's answers.
I've not been listening to a word you were saying.
Standard. But Brewser are also going to discuss how the next boxes are going to be chosen, because obviously this is the first one we've done, and it was kind of chosen between us and Brewser. But, you know, we want community involvement. So they're going to explain more about that next.
Indeed. Before we go over to Brewser,
go on.
Let's tell people how, if they're not bored of us already and they don't want to wait another 2 weeks to see us,
yes,
what they could do on Sunday evening.
Well, before Sunday evening, they could follow us across social media. They could go follow us on TikTok, 'cause that's where the cool kids hang out.
You could probably watch hours of our stuff tonight if you wanted to.
And go over to YouTube and watch our videos there talking about beer. That would be great, actually, because it allows us to keep doing free stuff because that's what our whole time is devoted to. But on Sunday evening at 8:30 on the Fellowship of Beer.
Negative. At 8 o'clock.
Sunday
He's
evening
lying.
at 8 o'clock, we're going to be joined by Alex Redpath from Full Circle Brewing up in Newcastle upon Tyne, who's a friend of ours. And we're going to be having another live. So this isn't connected to Brewser, but we're going to drink a couple of Brewser beers. So we will definitely be getting a mention. And the theme is session beers. And it's kind of like a bit more of what you've seen today, but a bit less serious.
A bit more daft.
A bit more. That's a good way to put it.
I can also confirm our recurring guest from Caps Off Brewing is going to be joining us.
Excellent. And we'll also be joined by Justin from Caps Off Brewing in Bishop Auckland. So, you'll get to hear from multiple different breweries there. And it's just a bit of fun.
It's just a load of silliness, really, drinking beer.
Silliness and beer and entertainment. So, join us for that if you dare. Challenge. Right, I think we should hand over to Brewser because I want to know if I've won a bot. Oh, no, I didn't share my experience. I've just been too busy talking to people.
Did you know? I wasn't even listening to you, so I wouldn't know.
Sorry. I'm not going to win. Tragic.
Okay, I am going to bring on Lewis and Ollie. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to get rid of us so you two can take over and announce the winner and tell people about how they can get involved in picking the breweries that are going to be involved.
Thank you so much, guys. And honestly, a huge thanks to everyone who's watched tonight. It's been incredible sitting back and watching this become a reality. I've thoroughly enjoyed hearing from Miranda, Chess, and Jordan. And been beaming from ear to ear throughout the whole thing. So thanks very much for making this happen. Just dropped the link to our Facebook group, Planet Brewser, in the chat there. For the next session, which will be in 2 weeks on the 1st of March, we'll have some fresh breweries on there, chatting through their beers and their brewing process. We'd love for you guys to choose at least one of those breweries that's going to come on and speak to us, if they would like to do that. But if you go on Planet Brewser, we'll be running a bit of a poll in the next few days for you to vote on and try and get your favorite brewery onto the next session that we have. So that's job number one. Job number two is perhaps even more fun than that, which is handing out a box of Brewser beer.
It's winter time.
It's winter time, yeah. And I hope Nick and Ash got the sound effects ready. But I put all of the entrants, and thanks very much. It was great seeing all your experiences. I put all the entrants into a very sophisticated Excel sheet, and the random number that came back out at me was Chloe Masters. So well done to Chloe. We liked your little story there about your brother in Wales and having a pint on a summer's day, which is probably one of the best things in the world, isn't it? So well done, Chloe. If you drop us an email at hello@brewser.beer, and we will sort you out with a box of beer from a brewery of your choice. Congratulations.
Well done, Chloe.
That's it, really, from me. Ollie, anything from you?
Just again, massive thanks to everybody for tuning in, watching all the breweries, and of course Nick and Ash. And definitely take a look at some of their all about beer courses, and hopefully I'll get up there to you guys and join you on one of your live tasting sessions soon as well. That would be awesome.
That would be super awesome. In fact, if anyone wants to send any craft beery people our way, brewers to come and join in, they're more than welcome.
Anytime.
Perfect.
We love that. Okie dokie.
Q&A.
So, do we have Q&A?
Without further ado,
We're going to bring back
let's
our
bring
panel
back
of
on
experts.
everyone. See how that goes.
It's going to be chaos.
It's going to be absolute chaos. What might be good is if people mute themselves unless they're talking. I sound like one of those angry teacher bosses on a Zoom call.
Sound like my scary accountant. It's all right, she won't be watching this.
Thank God they've gone, eh, Lewis?
I know, yeah. God, I'm doing my head in, mostly. Oh, that's better, isn't it? That's
Did
better.
they
Hey,
defeat
guys.
themselves?
Okay, let's fly through some questions very quickly. So I'm just scrolling back through the myriad of comments that we've had this evening.
Apologies, Jordan, if the questions get dropped over your head. It's a limitation of the software. We can't do anything about it.
It's just the way it is.
It's just the...
Oh, what's this? Wow, what's...
No worries.
Beers
Beers
that
that
belong. I like that.
Amazing.
If you want to make more space, lads, you can get me and Ollie off the screen. We no one wants to see us really. So if anyone doesn't have any questions for us about Brewser, then fire away. But I think get the breweries on here so people want to see.
Okay, we've gone. That was brutal, wasn't it? That was brutal. I'm just scanning through the comments very quickly. There is a lot to go through. Feel free to chat amongst yourselves for a second.
Well, I'm unmuted, so I can chat. It's gone really well. Like, I really like a live broadcast, and it's like, yeah, great.
It's good fun. All we need now is some animals and some children to make things go crazy.
Yeah.
I want to hear some more of your sound effects where you're like macro, light lager. Wow, wow, wow. Ooh.
That's our heart for when we have sort of dreamy moments.
That was for the Valentine's Day special that you all missed.
So Chris says, I need to try some Norfolk beers.
Nice.
Any recommendations other than yourself?
So we have quite a few. If I extend it to East Anglia, there's obviously a few more like Burnt Mill and Little Earth Project. But if you kept it purely to Norfolk and you wanted some great cast, then there's the Norfolk Brew House, which have all wild animal themes, so like pintail and things like that. And then Ampersand are great, and they are more Norwich ways, near a lovely little vineyard as well, if you like wine. They're very near to Flint. Yeah, Chloe, competition winner Chloe knows them.
Ampersand were my first Brewser box.
So,
yeah, I, being the Norfolk gal that I am, but not having lived there since I was 18, and then being in Ireland for the last 4 years and being locked down and sort of seeing all these people I was in a virtual pub every Friday, and there's quite a few of them based out in East Anglia, like showing me the Ampersand stuff. And I was like, that's from my neck of the woods. I need to try it. And I have to say, delicious beers, great first experience, and hence I continued as a Brewser customer.
Oh, so. And they're about to have their first Ampersand baby.
Oh. That's cute. I co-own Steam Machine Brewing Company with my wife, and we've got a couple of brewery babies as well. So
yeah, we've got two. We've got two in our 2 short years at duration.
Brilliant. Did you ever come across Old Slewfoot Brewery that were based down in Norwich? There was
Old Slewfoot. No.
So I bought his brew kit 8 years ago, and so that's how long ago he's been closed down. He was doing mixed fermentation, like very much Belgian farmhouse inspired beers. I think he was just doing them too early.
Ahead of his time.
Yeah, exactly. And he gave us a load of beers as like a parting gift. They were all like barrel aged beauties and stuff like that, and they were incredible.
Oh man, you needed to keep a stash of those for us. I mean, for Mixed Ferm, you've obviously got Pastore just over the way in Cambridge, and then All Day Brewing is a good one to seek out, and they do a fair amount of Mixed Ferm, and they are home brewers scaling up, and they're very experimental, and they've got a lovely fruit farm that they work on, and they actually grow about 16 varieties of hops where they are as well. So they're over in Sale.
That's really cool.
All Day Brewing.
It's my Brewser box this month, which is arriving tomorrow. So we'll probably do a video on some of their stuff.
Ooh, very good.
Oh, nice.
Quick one that we do need to give a shout out to. Can you read that, Nick? From Arnas. My very first IPA, it was a Lithuanian beer. Ooh. I remember myself saying, who can drink this bitter substance? And years later, it's my choice of drink that I now found sweet. The reason it's getting a shout out is because me and Nick both have Lithuanian heritage.
We do.
So about to get over there and do some content on the beer scene over there, which is very interesting.
I've even got a book, The Tourist Guide to Lithuanian Beers. It's a niche book, admittedly, but it's a good book. It's by Lars Marius Garshol of Farmhouse Brewing, and the person who brought Quake yeast to the Western mainstream world, really. No one knew about Quake yeast until Lars went, have you heard about Quake yeast? So yeah, there's Lithuanian Farmhouse Brewing is something that's from a bygone world and has a lot of unusual techniques. So we definitely want to go try some Lithuanian beer.
Okay, I've got a question that I'm going to field for, let's ask Jordan to answer this one. So a question from Andrew Bond. What is the one beer you've tried to brew that's never worked out?
It was the one I spoke about earlier, actually. That was it. Peaches, apricots, they don't really work if you're using the pure fruit in beer due to the fibre. And we've tried doing smaller batches using pectin-A's, filtration. You have to use very minimal amounts if you're using the actual fibre of the fruit. That would be the one, I'm afraid.
I've got to pick one that you'd already answered. So one here to all three breweries from Tons of Beer. What's your desert island beer?
That's an unfair question because you get 7 records, and so I need at least to answer that with 7 different beers, and then I'm still going to agonize over it.
It's the end where they're all getting washed away.
Oh yeah.
You've got to save one that's floating out to sea.
Yeah. We know how the end of it works.
I'm gonna say a lager, probably a Helles, because if I'm stuck there for a period of time, it's a beer you can have in the heat. It's clean, it's refreshing. That would probably keep me going. If I had, I'd stick with a lager, a really good Helles.
Lager is tough to beat. I'd maybe go Italian Pilsner though over Helles.
Like a Tippo Pils or something.
Or maybe just a really nice sort of session pale ale. If you're going to have volume and a lot, you want something you're going to enjoy.
I am a big fan of a cask bitter.
Oh, yeah.
Which is very on trend right now, apparently. So, I've always been a bitter gal, and that's exactly how I got into beer. So,
it's coming back. Yeah. Definitely. Old school's the new school again.
Well, sometimes for some of us are always old school.
What would you go for, Ash? I mean, I feel like it's a cop-out answer because my go-to answer for that question is a lager.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's a good all-rounder.
I think I would have said a lager, but I don't want to follow the crowd, so I'm going to go for a Dunkelweiss just to mix things up a bit.
Just a Belgian triple, just to keep it different.
Dunkelweiss every day.
Dunkelweiss every day, yeah.
We're actually going to do our take on a macro light lager.
Brilliant.
As a collab, yeah. So we're going to do a certain rip-off big beer.
I'm looking out for it. What colour label is it going to be? Just a tease?
Well, let's say it's going to be the champion of beers.
I thought that was McEwen's. What's champion of beers? I'm not too savvy on my macro beers anymore.
So I think there is a big brewery over in America that says they're the champagne of beers.
Okay.
And we're going to do a riff on their adjunct corn lager.
I'm excited.
This is very interesting.
I like a good adjunct lager.
I like it.
Yeah.
So the next question from Chris Lawrence on Facebook. Present company excluded, who would be your dream collab partner? And let's go through everyone for this. So let's start with Chess.
Okay. Well, I'm not the brewer. Just as a starter for 10. So I'm the sales and beer experience manager, in fact.
I think that's the coolest people in the brewing industry.
Yeah. and we have brewed, I'm pointing that way. We have brewed with the UnBarred already, which was fantastic. We did a Scotch ale in true traditional style of all the really trendy styles that everyone knows about and knows what they are. I mean, that's pretty tough. Let's go maybe with what I personally would, just as a beer drinker, and because I don't, I'm not an expert on how to.
This can be your personal choice. It doesn't have to be the brewery's choice.
Okay, fair enough. I'd love to do a beer with Coniston.
Oh yeah,
Ooh.
Bluebird
Because
Bitter. One of my
I think Bluebird Bitter it is genuinely one of the 7
all-
desert island beers.
I'm with you there.
Oh, I got the
Oh,
hop!
you got the hop.
Amazing, and I really hope they're tuning in. So
Well, Challenger hops used as a late hop addition. Wild, I tell you.
Oh.
so yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah, real.
Excellent.
What an answer.
Who's
next?
Let's go for Miranda next.
Ooh. So if I were Bates, our brewer speaking, he'd maybe say De La Seine, but he has already done a brew with them when he was at Brew by Numbers. If it were me, I'd maybe hop over the Atlantic and say someone, well, maybe Jester King or maybe someone like DeGard. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Really interesting stuff. They have a lot of mixed fermentation as well, and they're doing all kinds of interesting techniques. They're on TikTok actually. I think they just joined.
Really?
They're new. There's only there's not loads and loads of breweries on there. So there's only about 300 worldwide. So it's kind of like a nice, friendly scene on TikTok at the moment.
Are you on a side quest this evening to get everyone to join TikTok? Is it already there?
Once you get past people doing crap dances.
Subliminal.
Excellent. Jordan, use your dream.
I was going to say New Bristol Brewery. They have a fantastic range of beers. They're doing a lot of fun stuff, and they truly care about their core beers as well. And yeah, all fantastic beers. And yeah, maybe we'll be doing something with those guys.
I've not come across New Bristol.
Really?
Yeah,
check them out. Check them out.
Will.
Definitely worth. I have not had an average okay beer from them. All been fantastic.
Brilliant. They're next on my hit list. I'm gonna look for that. Any more questions? Question Master.
Yes, we're going to go with Andrew Hollindale on Facebook. Question for all 3 breweries. What upcoming brew are you most excited about? And let's reverse the order. Jordan first.
We literally just canned this week a cold IPA, which I'm exceptionally happy about, and it is phenomenal. It's sort of a hybrid, not many in the UK at all, come from the States, and yes, it has rice adjunct in it. So being a lagerish base malt, it's 30% rice, and we've used a Pilsner yeast strain, fermented it warmer. It's 8.4%.
Nice.
And it drinks like a 6% beer, but huge amount of tropical aroma and a nice clean bitterness there. It ticks every box. It's absolutely delicious. I'm really happy with it, because it's one of those things you want to try and push something that maybe not many people have done, especially over here. So I'm doing it, speaking to breweries in the States and reading up on it, and coming to a sort of an UnBarred conclusion on what the beer is. But it's come out great. Really happy with it.
You've got a similar experience, haven't you, Nick?
It's like we're stalking each other.
Is it? What have you done?
I was his limited canning run. I think we only did a few hundred. We don't have a label design for it yet, but it went live in we pour at Steam Machine Brewing Company. We dispense, because mainly we're about being a destination, a visitor location. So we serve a lot of beer straight from the tank. So tank 5 is full of cold IPA. Ours is only 7%. Yeah, same as what you described, about 30% flaked rice in the malt bill. And we've done we've done a couple of videos about cold IPAs as well, and kind of like went down a rabbit hole with people about why it is different enough from like an IPL or a dry hop lager.
Yes.
And I'm with you. I think it deserves to be its own style, and I think it's great. In fact, I spent all weekend taking the cans home to do extensive research just to see how quaffable it was. And it's really nice having that bitter hit, that refreshing quality, and having that almost beer door kind of characteristic creeping in behind on the aftertaste. I think they're. I hope cold IPAs take off, Because
Absolutely. Let's do a beer swap. But the malt base just lets the hop shine, and very interesting with a lager yeast strain that you get a really interesting character using it for biotransformation, high fermentation, which I haven't had an opportunity to try before. So great experiment and everything worked. Let's do a beer swap.
okay, let's do it. We'll organise it. Mine might be on handwritten labels, but you know.
Yeah, no problem.
So let's move on to Miranda. I'm just going to remove the question because it's covering your face at the moment. So if you want to tell us.
So we're really excited that next week a bit of a dreamboat in the mixed firm brewing world is going to come up for a brew, and we're going to do what we've done a couple of times with some of our beers, which is where we brew up a double brew of the wort, and we do a fresh version and a dirty version. So we're going to have Burning Sky come visit us, and we're going to do a bit of I don't want to give it away. But yeah, we're going to do a delicious beer that suits both of our breweries, being into farmhouse styles, but that's also very approachable and really hop forward and drinkable. And then we're going to put it in wood for as long as it needs, and let our yeast cultures and that slow fermentation process develop that beer into something else. So
that's exciting.
That's bound to be excellent with you two players, in the mix there.
I just remember being always like, I can't help but ask Mark Trantner, and I always get a bit fangirly and kind of awkward when I'm around him, and he's quite a sort of reserved character anyway. And then when he said yes, I was like, okay, yeah, that's great.
Amazing. Their pear saison that they did a few years back was pouring on BeerCon, and that was like, I think that was like my beer of the year. I just I went back for it 3 times. I was at the same festival, I couldn't stay away from it. I just thought it was magical.
Yeah.
Good choice, wonderful stuff. And now it's Chess's turn.
It is Chess's turn.
And I'm going to be a typical sales and beer experience person. I think I might be the only one in the country, but I'm not going to answer the question because we don't want to reveal what we've got planned. Oh. However, what I would tell you is that some of the things I am dead excited about is we've got a beer that we did already brew last year that was a very special beer that is sitting in several different types of barrels currently and will be released for a very special occasion to us. We were also, even just today, putting some fine tuning sort of on ideas to something that we've not done before, because we're quite an eclectic brewery, something we've not personally done before for our International Women's Day hosting brew. So we were talking about that. Another beer that I'm excited about coming up that will be at Sheffield, part of Sheffield Beer Week and Indie Beer Feast, is a souped up version of a beer that is very familiar to people of ours. It's like one of our flagship beers, biggest sellers, really happy with it. People know what it is, and we decided to do an Uber version of it. So I don't know what that's going to taste like. I'm really looking forward to it. But in terms of what then I can talk about, just because I really love the style, is backed by popular demand. We've had 2 beers. You know, this whole thing where people saying, bring back this beer. And they're like, it doesn't sell in the volumes like you just pointed out, IPAs do, and session IPAs and all that kind of stuff. And, if you're going to buy more than one of it, then we'll bring it back. But we've seen unprecedented demand over the course of the last 6 months for our extra special bitter and our brown ale. Nice. And this fills my heart with joy. And so we've just this week canned our Solenis extra special bitter, and as my partner clearly really needed a pee, he's gone to the toilet. Hi, that's Alex. Our Hell's Canyon brown ale, which like Les was just like, but Chess, I think it's now like, it's one of the best beers I've ever brewed. I was like, but I know it is, and I love it. But as a salesperson, a brown ale is really hard to sell. People tell you they want it and they don't. And then like about a month ago, let us brew it again. And it's nearly all pre-sold already. So I was like, yes.
Excellent. Good stuff. So
might be in the next Brewser box. Who knows? We'll wait and see.
Ooh. I love it. What a tease. I love it the way that Chess said, I'm not going to tell you, but then like told us everything. She built up the suspense.
I told you what I wanted to tell you.
I like it. So, very quick one. Are any of you attending the beer festivals around the country, please, especially in the Manchester area, from Vince on Facebook? Is anyone going to any beer festivals in Manchester?
Well, I just let Vince know and anyone else who's interested, because I do live in Manchester. I'm delighted to be part of the Lass Fest, which is celebrating a whole week of activities at International Women's Day. They're making a week of it at Grub. Grub, for anyone who doesn't know, I know there's more than one Grub out there, is like, those venues where there's lots of food stalls and lots of lovely beer. And actually last time I was in there, our collab was in there, Jordan, the Scotch Ale. So I'm doing a tap takeover and then also co-hosting with 2 other beer experts, women in the industry in rum and whiskey, areas I can't wait to learn more about. We're doing a guided tasting. So that's happening on Wednesday, the 2nd of March. So that's the most immediate one. And that's a tap takeover, but then a nice guided tasting, and you get to have some whiskey and rum. So like I say, I'm going to learn loads because I like whiskey and rum. I just don't know anything about them.
Anyone else? Any other takers from Manchester?
Yeah, we're going to be at Manchester Craft Beer Festival. I haven't heard whether Cloudwater are doing their family and friends this year. But yeah, we're going to be up there for that. And all of our festivals are on our website under events, but we're going to go down. Yeah, we're bouncing around everywhere now that we're allowed out to play and everyone's kind of getting the vaccine. So we'll be popping up at London, Lewis, Cornwall, and various places.
All those other towns.
Felix, that big, but see you in Manchester. Yeah, nice one, Jordan.
There we go. We're probably going to try and get to Indie Man Beer Con, aren't we?
Yes.
If maybe another few, but definitely Indie Man Beer Con.
Yes. Jordan, are you venturing north as well?
Yeah, I'll be at Manchester and the other We Are Beer ones on the circuit, Bristol, London, Scotland.
Big
Fine Ales is coming up, isn't it?
Fine Ales as well.
Fine Fest.
Isn't
it?
Yeah, it's bizarre. We opened up and then 6 months later COVID hit, so the sort of majority of our business has been without any festivals like my team in Miranda. So this year now the diary's like every single week it looks like something's
we're going
out.
In Cornwall, Chris Lawrence, it's Little Summer Beer Bash.
Little Summer Beer Bash. Yes, I've heard of that. Yeah,
that's cool. So we do have a lot more questions. I'm going to try and keep it to sort of 10 minutes. So we might have to do quick fire through these so we're not keeping everyone up too late on a school night.
Oh, yeah.
So first of all, Kevin Chester, who is one of our All About Beer graduates.
He is.
Isn't he?
We just plugged him here on this so we could tell everyone how great it is.
He said, what was your most frightening
post,
moment starting up a brewery? So let's go for Miranda. Could you answer that? Your most frightening moment starting up a brewery?
Yeah, it's from the 20th of March until now. Pretty much. Yeah.
That's classic. Excellent. Fair answer. Jordan, anything to add to that?
I can't think of anything particular, but yeah, you constantly live in fear, and that's why we drink so much.
Constant terror.
I know, Chess, you joined the brewery later, but surely you know the horror stories. What was the most frightening thing from Neptune?
I think because I've worked in the industry for a while, so I've worked for other breweries as well, and I've been with a few of them at their sort of near their genesis. But I've known Julie and Les, as I say, for a long time. I think it's just. I think the main thing was. Julie, for example, was helping out from the very beginning, but then taking the plunge to go full time. And then I think between the two of them, then realizing that, oh no, we're doing this. This is everything. This is both of us committing everything. And, obviously everyone around this group knows that. And I think those guys have obviously just sort of, I'm sure they've got their own individual horror stories that they'll be able to tell well better than me, but I think obviously outweighs that is all the positives. I mean, the hard work and the young glamorous stuff, but this is our industry, right? This is how it works. This is what we live for.
That's right. Oh, good answer. What's next? Come on, Quizmaster.
Okay, very quick one from someone called Brewser. What's TikTok?
Why is TikTok? All the cool kids.
Clock, isn't it? Isn't it that thing that's on the shelf over there? It's a clock.
Quick one from Vince, with the Bluebird beer there, like Bluebird
bitter.
mint. There's so many questions. Like we could do a whole other session.
If we don't
Q&As.
answer them, we do apologise. Maybe it was our fault for teasing you with stories to chat with.
Okay, we've got to ask this one from Ollie. I mean, he could just ask you himself, but Miranda would love to know more about the foraged ingredients you use in your beer. Where do they come from? Are there certain seasons where you used more foraged ingredients?
100%, yeah. So in spring, we do a wheat beer because to us, a wheat beer is very much about the sun coming out and spring and sunshine. So we do one in the spring with spring flowers. There's actually an amazing nursery called Nurtured in Norfolk, and they grow lots of edible flowers for often restaurants and things. And because we like working sort of less is more, we say to them, you know, what byproducts do you have that might be really packed full of flavour? So they say things like rose geranium and pineapple sage. And so we say, yeah, give it to us. We'll put it in our beer. Also vintners, we do great pumice. But also in the autumn, I think it's a really good time. And last year we worked with Diane Tanner, who is Matt Curtis's partner and has a beautiful apothecary shop. And she's a bit of a white witch. And she encouraged us to look again at nature and look in the hedgerows. So we did a beer called Fly in Your Dreams, and we invited all of our taproom customers to come forage with us and bring their produce that they found in their gardens and hedgerows to exchange for a beer at the taproom. And we used mugwort and blackberry.
Fantastic. Hence the name for With Dreams, I take it, with the mugwort.
Yes, sleep inducing.
Yes.
So yeah.
Lucid dreams it can create. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. We were hallucinating off mugwort last year, actually, weren't we?
We were.
I'm also a bit of a
very interesting sleep after some mugwort too, don't you?
It ferments super quick as well. It we just picked it and the next day it was steaming and the bags that they came in were like really hot. It was just tripping out.
And it's one of the original brewing herbs as well. It is like, there's evidence of it like in Saxon brewing and stuff like that.
Yeah. There's a lot of priories near us and there's often like wild herbs growing that were probably planted by the monks that have just sort of bedded in. So yeah, we're going to do a few of those.
Oh, and then there was 3.
Oh, they left us to it. Cheers, guys. Bye.
So they just couldn't go over how interesting all this forage stuff was. I think they were like, we need to go get some of that mugwort now.
We're off. I can see it growing. Yeah. If anyone does have to vote for one of the breweries to come back on, can I put my hand up for Boxcar?
Oh yeah. Really
delicious, fluffy, soft, lovely beers.
I definitely love that. That's clearly your favourite descriptor. Fluffy.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
Fluffy. Everything's
enjoyed that. I've heard that a few times. I would be like, we didn't need them. It's fine. We're carrying on where we are.
We rock it.
Nothing.
It's fine.
Yeah.
They've just totally gone. When I showed this earlier, I was showing it to say I might stick it in Brewser boxes this week if I see some orders.
That'd be cool.
Nice.
Yeah. Everyone loves a bit of merch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boxcar's Brewery and Taproom is in Bethnal Green. Really good.
Let's go to that one quickly. Can you hear us talking, by the way?
We can hear you mumbling amongst yourselves, yeah, but we just decided to carry on regardless.
There you go.
We thought you dropped us and we were riffing.
We just thought we'd have a quick break and just leave you to it.
Yeah.
We theorised that you got off to get some mugwort.
That was it.
And put it on TikTok.
We're off. See you later. Let's get on TikTok with our mugwort, lucid dreaming, happy days. But yeah, Boxcar, some quality beers. I really enjoyed their box. I had one of their Brewser boxes. Brewser box? Was it?
Yes, you did. It was your first Brewser box. I do believe.
Have you heard of this new style that they've invented called dark mild?
Yes.
Chimes in the bitter queen.
One for the beer nerds on the call, which I think is everybody.
I'm a big follower of Ron Pattinson's blog, Shut Up About Barclay Perkins, and he's always investigating historical beer recipes. And he posed the question that he set out to answer, which was, when did milds go dark? And he's started pinpointing the time, which is in the late 1800s. He's found breweries are starting to add colouring to their beers purely out of a fashion aesthetic, and it is literally colouring that they're adding to the beer. Yeah.
We're doing a beer with Ron Patterson this year.
Are you? Brilliant.
We're going to do as close to the recipes we can get with a World War II pale, or as people would have probably just referred to as, "I'll have a beer, please," about 3.4%.
Yeah, and he's just released a book about World War II beer, or releasing, I think it's called Armistice, and about like the beer that happened around that time, and showing how much the gravities were like slashed and reduced massively. It's really fascinating. He's tenacious chap when it comes to opening the history books and delving into the recipes.
Miranda, can I just ask you? I mean, this is my personal question. What was being taken out of the Arga behind you just there? Because I'm quite intrigued.
So often it's like baked broccoli that we put Lago Man kind of chili flakes and peanuts on. I think it's a cheeky spring roll.
Oh.
I don't know why I find the idea of a spring roll being cooked in an Arga quite funny. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like slow cooked pork that's been simmering for 22 hours. We actually, there's a field right outside, and there's some rewilding pigs that have been culled, and they're now going to go into food. But obviously wilding animals are normally not for food, but there were too many. They were too successful in being wild and bred too much. And so because we had them on the field near us, and we have some water supply that we gave to the piggies, we get one. So I'd love to say that there's, this whole pig coming out the Arga, but that'll be in about 2 weeks.
Amazing.
Okay, I'm going to ask one last question to every one of our panelists, and then we will wrap it up. Otherwise, we could sit here all evening, and maybe another time we will do.
No.
It's like, I would just stay here.
I'm all right.
Let's have a mugwort party.
You all need to come up. We'll have a mugwort party. That's the deal. Or we'll all come down to Norfolk. How about that? So, question for all: what does the rest of 2022 bring for your craft world? And that's from Adam Mills on Facebook. So, first of all,
hi Adam.
Nick.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can answer this one.
Prepared.
And then I know. So, what do you think 2022 brings for the rest of your craft world?
Connecting more with awesome people who are into beer, creators, and with you having gallivanting adventures.
With me or Adam?
With Adam as well, actually. We're seeing Adam in May, so that'll be cool. And yeah, like Miranda said before, getting out. So
Excellent. Excellent. Chess, what does the rest of 2022 bring for your craft world?
Yeah, really similar. Just getting out, being able to see people, for me anyway, like I say, being back in the UK, there's so much going on that I was amazed. When I was over in Ireland, I was there for 4 years, and I was like, there's so much development, innovation, people who are thinking about dipping their toe into the industry and are now doing it, whether that is to set up their own brewery or something else. So, I'm playing catch up massively, and I'm back in the Northwest. I used to live in the Northwest a long time ago. So I've actually just really focusing on being able to take my time, getting to discover good places to go and going back to them, and trying to not just see them once and being able to connect with, because especially starting with a brewery like Neptune, because Julie and Les are known, all over the show, rightly so. So now they're like, oh, Chess, do you want to come here? And Chess, do you want to do that? And I'm like, yes, please. So really enjoying that. And then also more of what you guys I know are all about, which is doing things like this, I've always tried to myself, like as we all do, I'm sure, are advocates and evangelists and enthusiasts for beer and stuff. And I spent quite a bit of time studying over the last couple of years, like trying to get a few more qualifications. And to be honest, though, the aim is just to speak to new people, more people about beer, why it's great. And if they don't know anything about it, like ask me, and hopefully I can helpfully answer in a way that means you can get some knowledge out of it and hopefully some enjoyment. So that is obviously goes hand in hand with just being able to go out and about and do things like this. And even being able to go out and about, sitting in my living room in Salford, but engaging with people. I love that anyway. It's what I've always done. So I'm just glad we can have a choice now to do it on a screen and in person.
Awesome. Definitely agree with that, 100%. It's the same as ours, really. I like it. Jordan, what about you? What's your recipe?
I mean, as you asked the question, I was really thinking about the product releases throughout the year. So I've done plans. I've planned most stuff around what beers are coming out. Yes, we'll be at as many festivals as possible, myself too, and getting out and doing a lot of collaborations that we wanted to do in person, not just over Zoom. But in terms of beer, we're continuing with the barrel aging project. Got some very interesting different wood that we're going to be working with, and some different styles. Easter, we've got a really big indulgent barrel aged bottled beer, which I won't say what it is, but it's going to be extremely indulgent and with much love to. Well, someone said it's like a chocolate bar, but I don't know what chocolate bar they're talking about. But yeah, big stuff coming out around there, which got a bit of hype behind, and we're on a journey of looking at the IPA again. So we're doing a series of the IPA, cold IPA, kicking it off. I'm going to pronounce it Kvik IPA. I had a really interesting pronunciation of that earlier.
It's quite. It should be halfway between a V and a W. It should.
Yeah, I'm never going to get it, I'm afraid. Vike. I tried.
Vikings.
So we're going to do that as an IPA. We did it as a lager when it first came out. We got one of the first commercial strains of it, and no one knew what it was.
We did the same. We ordered we ordered a pitch of it from Omega Labs in America and got it shipped up. And that's how we did it.
I think you two just need to get a room.
My wife isn't watching.
So yeah, big exploration of IPA again, going right back to traditional IPAs as well, what they are, and yeah, that's a big journey for us. So yeah, lots more in beer, and being able to produce more of our flagship beer, which is Juicy, which is a hazy pale, which everyone should get a can in their boxes.
Did we have that the other night? It was delicious. I think we did.
If it's not around, that's a good endorsement, because it means that was drunk straight away.
Piles of beer around us at the moment. It's like beer chaos.
Yes, we did. That's the one we took the picture of. Yes, it was delightful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, nice.
Miranda, you're up.
Oh, well, obviously we're all going to be ordering lots of Brewser boxes, and we're all going to be checking in fortnightly to the Fellowship of Beer. We're, as a brewery, really excited to get back out and about, but equally, last year we opened our tap room and it really took off, so we're really excited to sort of shape up some plans to build a bit more of a permanent tap room, and we'll be sharing a bit more about how people can get involved with that later on in the year. On the brew side, we're really hitting our stride on the Fermata range, which is our barrel age project, and so we're looking forward to releasing a few more slow beers. Some are quick slow beers like 6 months, and some are slow beers like 2 years. So we got a few of those coming out. We're also doing a bit of a journey through IPA. We have a couple of beers that use, I'm going to say it wrong, Kvik. So like shifting baselines. We don't make a big deal about it, but it's a pale ale that we have a little bit of a Belgian twist on. So yeah, our IPAs, we're going to be reaching out more towards a Belgian vibe with them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Amazing. All exciting all around.
Yeah.
Well, it's been an
absolute
exciting
pleasure.
evening. guys, thanks again for joining us. It's been wonderful to have you here. It's been wonderful for you to share your journey, share your passion for the creations that are in front of us, especially, you know, with this new community of Planet Brewser. One thing I would like to say that we forgot to say at the beginning, because it was all a bit technical issues with Jordan getting lost and everything.
There was a number of technical issues. It wasn't just Jordan getting lost.
You know, there are so many subscription boxes out there that you don't know the people who are behind it. It's subscription boxes which are dealing with out of date, end of line stock, or what they'll do is they'll give you a good box to start with to lure you in, and then get you hooked and give you crap. And you know, we in our early days we came across a lot of shoddy practice from beer subscription services that were almost like leeching off the hard work of the breweries and expecting you to work for exposure. And with Brewser, it's not that at all. It's, you know, there's real people there with a real passion. And if that wasn't true, we wouldn't be sat here having this enthusiastic conversation about what they're trying to create. So a big thank you to Brewser for enabling this. And all right, pipe down.
Okay, so I'm going to bring Lewis and Ollie back on very quickly, just
to say goodbye.
And then we'll wrap it up. Thank you to everyone that's dropped a million questions in the comments on various social media platforms that we're on this evening. If we didn't get to your question, we do apologise. We do only have limited time. One day we will do a week-long festival where we just sit there and answer questions all week. And
They won't do that.
Okay. Already.
No, my chair might break.
We're having up chairs for a week. Okay, let me bring Lewis on and let me bring Ollie on. Okay, here we go. Hello again, boys and girls. How are we doing?
Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Thank you so much. This has been so much fun. So yeah, Jordan, Chess, Miranda, Nick, and Ash, thank you so much. And thanks for the kind words at the end there, boys. And for everyone watching, hope you had a good time. And yeah, we'll see you again in 2 weeks.
Next time, yeah. Remember to join Planet Brewser and vote for your brewery that you want to see next as well.
Woo!
Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I'm going to end it there. We'll see you all soon. 1st of March, come back, see us again.
Cheers. Thank
Cheers
you.
all.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks, guys.
That was gorgeous. That was really good. Apart from the very first start of it, like I left you a bit in the fucking lurch because I was like, oh shit.